Episcopal Church in Abbeville was organized in 1842 when a group of Charleston people came up to escape the vapors and mosquitoes and found this lovely place here. And for the first year, they worshiped in the courthouse while the small white New England-style clapboard building was being built. It lasted for about 15 years, and then they decided that it was not large enough. They had large families, and they expected their children to have large families, and they would fill up a much bigger church. So they got in touch with George Walker, who was an architect from Columbia, and this is his design. It's French Gothic Revival, and it's sort of a little cathedral. It's one of the finest examples of Gothic revival in this part of the state. So it was consecrated on November the 4th, 1860. Everything in the church, with the exception of the lighting or any modernization such as that, is original. All the woodwork is grained, which was a decorative device of the mid-19th century. Even the ceiling, if you look up all the way up to the ceiling, if you can see that far, you can tell it's grained. The organ was in place, and it was made by John Baker of Charleston. He ordered his parts from England and assembled everything in Charleston. It came up and was here in time for the opening. The pews are made of one long board each, and that is why we have these divides in the middle. Someone said it would be like a joggling board if you didn't have some sort of support, and the minister would be dizzy watching the congregation go this way or that way. Well, the famous window, of course, is the one that's over the chancel, over the altar. And it was ordered to get here in time for the consecration service. But you know how it is when you order now. You don't always get everything when you expect it. And this was coming all the way from England. And they just decided to go ahead and have the service and not worry about when the window would come. They went on several years without that window. In 1863, there was quite a nice event. They got a notice, your window has come into Charleston, which was a miracle because the whole southeast coast was blockaded, just heavily blockaded. But somehow it got through. We were to have had a triptych, a three-part window for Trinity, and this is our Savior. Well, they pondered a little bit about it, but not long, and decided it would be awfully hard to get it transported over the Mason-Dixon line, so they just kept it. And if you'll notice, it's cut off at the bottom. See, the decorative medallion is cut in half. Those two medallions are cut in half, so it was for a much larger space. The window over by the old organ on the south wall was put in 1941 because someone left a will mandating that it be put there. The church was closed at that time. It had ceased to be a religious organization. It was just that nice old building at the end of Trinity Street. But it had to be put in because this will said so. And it is much more valuable than we've had them appraised as much more valuable than the chancel window, even though it's smaller. During a period of prosperity in the 1880s, the diamond pane windows were put in by members of the vestry, which is the ruling body of the church. And the children's window over next to the new organ was put in when nickels and dimes saved by children would pay for something. Then we have other windows that look like Tiffany windows that are over the front of the church. And we've never had any idea where they came from. There's no record. They just appeared. In the late 1940s, some of the children who had now grown to retirement age came home and wanted to come back to their church and worship here, that no other church was right for them. Trinity Church is here and welcomes visitors, and one of our outreach forms is that we keep the church open every day from 10 until 5 o'clock. We have 5 families who take turns doing that, and it's quite rewarding to read our visitors book and see what this church means to people, because so many people like to come and meditate, say a prayer, or just sit here in the beauty of it.